welcome. You're listening to the Best of Investing on News Talk 910, the show where we present valuable information about real estate, the financial markets, and other economic business of the day. For those of you listening for the first time, here's our format. A few guys sitting around a bar having drinks without the drinks. Wait a minute, you guys did remember to bring the drinks this time, didn't you? Not again? Yeah,
not again.
Okay.
Vodka,
yeah. Talking business with you, the audience listening in. I'm your host, Edward Brown, and I'm pleased to have as my co-host Mark Hanf of Pacific Private Money, California's fastest growing private lender, and Russell Brosner of Equity Coalition. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Now write that number down, 888-912-1190, because you're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for 3 vacations given away during each commercial break. That's right, we're giving away 9 vacations during this show. The vacations are sponsored by Lighthouse Resort and Marina, which is located 1 hour northeast of San Francisco, and the vacations are free. Their only request, a $75 cleaning fee to cover housekeeping expenses. Such a deal. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. You can reach them at 916-777-5511. Check them out. And today's trivia theme is, oh yeah, Mark suddenly comes alive. I'm paying attention now, thank you. Today's trivia theme is reality TV shows.
You guys are dead. I know everything.
You know everything about it? Okay, you might know.
I wasted my life watching this.
Okay, our website is bestofinvesting.com. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube by typing Best of Investing Radio Show, and we're also on television. Comcast Channel 26 on Saturdays at noon and Sundays at 6 p.m. Just can't get enough of Best of Investing. What can I say? Quick reminder again, in Corte Madera and Santa Clara, World Wraps is giving our listeners a free smoothies with purchase of a wrapper bowl if you mention the Best of Investing. And today's guest is Marc Guzman. And Russell, why don't you do the honors?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Before I introduce Marc, I just wanted to mention that there are some very, very rare real estate agents out there that actually have direct relationships with the banks to be REO designated agents. And I spent a good part of the last week trying to find a good one. And I talked to Marc, and he seemed like the right guy to bring onto the show. And just a little bit on Marc. Marc's a licensed real estate broker of California. And he's been with Security Pacific Real Estate since 2003. They're located in Richmond, and they service the counties of Alameda, Contra Costa, Marin, Napa, San Francisco, and Solano.
So 2003 to now, you've seen quite a lot.
Oh yeah. And through the up and the down, and now the flat again? Or the back up again.
Yeah, I got into real estate at the very best time, and saw the big peak and crash.
There you go.
Yeah, so to finish up, Marc has successfully sold over 850 homes to date. Wow. And completed over $140 million in sales volume. And again, he currently specializes in REO foreclosure listings and short sale transactions. So, without further ado, I would like to maybe just talk, Marc, here a little bit about what an REO actually is.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you to everyone here for bringing me on. So REO is basically just short term for real estate owned, and that's what it means. The REOs, you know, when people mention REO, it's just a bank-owned property.
Okay, so it's a bank that's foreclosed. And
exactly.
Okay, so let's move right in. So what's happening with the bank foreclosures now?
Well, you know, there's a lot of regulations right now that the federal government, the states, everyone's putting into place right now, and a lot of the foreclosures are just being held by the banks. And that's one thing we're seeing right now with the shortage of inventory in a lot of the top metro areas.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about that, Marc, about the fact that, you know, the buyers are coming out of the woodwork now at, you know, it's spring, summer 2012. It's like, so where's all those great distressed properties that we could buy to fix and flip or buy for rental property? And we're finding that there's not a whole lot. So we've got this stuff we call, you know, that refers to as shadow inventory. Some of it's bank owned, some of it's not yet bank owned. Do you have any idea what are the banks doing with all that inventory right now?
You know, they're doing a lot of different things with it. You know, some are selling the actual mortgage notes off to corporate investors. One other solution is the REO2 rental initiative that some of the big banks are pushing. I believe CoreLogic, one of those big companies that tracks a lot of these foreclosures and data and housing stats, they estimated it was about a $75 billion market by turning a lot of the defaulted properties into rentals.
You said initiative. That makes it sound like it's government somehow is involved.
Yeah, actually Freddie and Fannie Mae are pushing. In fact, in February, they actually did the first bulk sale of 2,500 properties of that they actually own, these bank-owned properties. And they're selling them off to a corporate investor, and I believe they're going to close on the deal in the next few months.
And is the bank taking a hit on that?
I'm sure they're taking a little bit of a hit on it, but the idea behind this bulk sale is that whoever buys it will have to hold on to the property for 3 years.
Okay, so they can't flip it.
Oh, interesting.
Correct. Yeah.
So Mark, would I be correct in saying that you're like an REO and short sale listing specialist?
Correct.
Okay, so your livelihood is based on hopefully seeing more opportunity for distressed property to come on the market. So what do you think is going to happen in the next 6 months? Do you expect the banks to release more inventory and foreclose on more inventory and put it up for auction?
In all honesty, no. I don't see any
Really?
inventory really coming out for the next 6 months. We are in an election year. I really don't see any inventory coming out until next year.
So what do the banks they hold on to it, and what do they do?
Right now, they're trying to do bulk sales and selling packages off to corporate investors. And yeah, they're trying to figure out this whole mess and the best way to deal with it, because if you start releasing all these foreclosures on the market,
Kill the market.
exactly.
Now, Mark, can you help people if they actually are a corporation out there, get hooked up with the banks to buy a bulk sale?
I do know a few contacts in Southern California, and they're private equity firms that assign me properties, and they buy, properties directly from banks like Chase, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America.
So again, those corporations who might buy in bulk, the restriction is they can't just flip it. What they would do is basically they turn it into rental property.
Correct.
Okay, and would they rent it necessarily back to the current occupant?
That's the idea,
Okay.
yeah.
So a lot of these are not vacant properties.
No, most of them are already occupied properties.
I wonder what the cap rate is on that. That's probably pretty good.
Hey Mark, you said something about the banks aren't, they really, doesn't serve their purpose to release a whole bunch of new foreclosure inventory. No one wants to see another dip, a double or triple dip, however you want to look at it. But, right now we've got a shortage of inventory, so it's really not, I don't think it's a matter of necessarily dumping all this inventory on the market or foreclosing on more homeowners. It's just, there's a certain rate at which the market can absorb it, and right now they're just not providing.
Maybe the prices haven't gone up enough. Is that part of it?
Well, but
of course, if it goes up and then they.
But here's the thing: you've got homeowners not making payments on their loans. So, and maybe a notice of default has been filed, but they haven't actually filed the notice of sale, which is what you do before it goes to auction. So you've got that part of shadow inventory, which is just a non-performing loan on the bank's books. Then you've got the REO inventory, which is when the bank actually forecloses. It goes to the auction. Nobody buys it, so it goes back to the bank because too much money was owed on it. And then you've got bank REO inventory, so you've got two different components, and we're just not seeing a release of that REO inventory in any numbers. And this is a nationwide thing. It's not just in California, but
Correct.
It's just so you don't see them taking some of that REO inventory and releasing. You don't see any pressure for them to do so.
You know what? Right now, they're going through a lot of policy changes. One of the biggest things, the Dodd-Frank Act, really put a lot of regulation onto the different banks and
We call it
lenders.
Frank and Dodd around here.
Seems like it's backwards. It should be Frank Dodd rather than Dodd-Frank, but go ahead. Well, actually, let me interrupt you for a second because we're going to go to a commercial break pretty soon here. I wanted to ask you tips to get your offer accepted on REO listings.
Okay, this is one thing that I get asked a lot, and right now we're seeing multiple offers, 10, 15, offers on every single listing we have.
Yeah.
My suggestion to people is, especially if you're doing financing, be aggressive. Offer as high as you can possibly afford to offer, because the appraisal on the property will bring it back down to a realistic sales price.
Oh, so you don't have to bottom fish.
No.
Right, okay. All right, we're going to cut to a break, and before we do, we had a special trivia contest where the winner was going to receive tickets to the Hornblower, and imagine yourself aboard a luxury yacht with your closest friends and family. Indulge in a deliciously prepared food and scenic San Francisco Bay views. The Hornblower Cruises and Events offers 3 types of dining cruises: a free-flowing champagne brunch, fun and lively supper club cruise, and an elegant 4-course dinner cruise. fun for all ages. Book now at hornblower.com. And again, I've been on the Hornblower many times. It's still one of my favorite things. And you know, how often do you get to see the Golden Gate Bridge from under the bridge?
From the water, yes.
From the bridge.
Yeah, I've done a few of those. Very nice.
Yeah, isn't that great? Okay, here is our first commercial break, and here's our first trivia question. And again, the theme is TV reality shows. This TV show revolves around candidates attempting to impress a real-life business tycoon who is also the host. What is the show? The first 3 callers with the correct answer are going to win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. I see some smiles here. You guys are businessmen. You understand this. Their website is lighthouseforfun.com. Call 888-912-1190. That's 888-912-1190 to answer this question. This TV show revolves around candidates attempting to impress a real-life business tycoon who is also the host. What is the show? 888-912-1190. Make sure you include your name, your email address, speak slowly, and spell out your information for us 1 letter at a time, and we will be right back. Excellent.
All right.
Goes fast.
Good job.
Yeah, thanks.
Well done. Can you take these off for
Oh yeah, commercial break.
During
So
break. Thanks.
Oh.
It's on the TV show. It's a commercial break right now.
So you know the answer to the trivia
Well, at
question?
first I thought Shark
Oh,
Tank,
Shark
but
Tank,
no,
yeah.
it's not Shark
No.
Tank. It's the You're Fired one.
Okay.
The Trump.
Yeah.
That's it.
You're fired.
Is that what it's called? You're fired?
No, it's
No.
what's Trump's show called? It's
You'll
called.
find out.
Yeah, actually, that you know what?
Apprentice.
Oh, the
That's
The
Apprentice.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right. The Apprentice. I watched
Now
that a
they're
few
on the
times.
Celebrity Apprentice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I like Shark Tank better.
I like Shark Tank a lot.
This is kind
Well,
of.
is that the one where people present business ideas
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get shot down?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Get shot down.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw.
Or
most of
get
them
bought,
do.
you know.
Or-
Yeah,
yeah.
most of them do, yeah.
I saw one where basically this 15-year-old girl was the CEO. They sold $5 million worth of these like bottle cap necklaces, and she
Wow.
was sharp. I mean, she had bidding offers, and she didn't just like jump. I mean, that's
Right.
They funded her?
They did.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, you got the lady from QVC, plus a couple of other. They got 3 sharks, including Mark Cuban on that one.
I didn't think that
was
show
good.
was still on. I thought it went off the air years ago. It's still on, huh?
Well, this no, it's still on, but I think they're doing some repeats. But it was great.
What
Great show.
station is it on? Do you know?
You know, now it moved to ABC.
Oh, it's on
was, yeah, it
ABC.
was on like the History Channel for a while. My brother
Oh, okay.
told me about it.
I have to look for it.
Yeah.
Do some video on demand.
So do we want to talk about getting into short sales?
Yeah.
Second one? Because that's.
So basically, the idea is to offer more money than you even think you can afford because you won't have to pay it.
Because I want to praise.
Yeah,
Wanna
That's
praise,
clever.
yeah.
I can't believe I've never heard that
I have a
before.
chart that
Yeah,
I
I've
created
heard
for
that
clients so they can visually see it, that shows the listing price of properties, what people are offering, the offer that gets accepted, and then what they actually close at. It's
Wow.
a huge difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are most of your clients end-home buyers, or do you have some real estate investors who are?
Most of my clients are real estate investors.
Really?
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so you're telling them to bid more than they think they'll be able to make a
Well,
profit on, and
that's a
hope
little
it comes
tough
back?
because
That's-
investors, many are cash. So you offer a certain price at cash, and you're
Yeah.
kind of stuck at that price.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas if you do, let's say FHA financing,
Yeah.
I'll give you a perfect example, American Canyon, we have a house, 17 offers, it was listed for $385. FHA buyer comes in at $500,000, so the bank
Oh.
sells it to them,
Mhm.
prays for $405, bank reduces the price, and that FHA buyer outbidded a
That's
$460,
flipping amazing.
like 30% down
Wow.
offer, yeah.
That's
But
great.
the thing is, so the appraiser doesn't just go willing to the seller.
No, not in this
No,
market.
not
It doesn't-
anymore.
Yeah, they don't just, yeah.
That's a huge difference. I could have come back and give the. I did the hornblower thing, but I forgot to give the question and the answer from last week, so I'll
That's
quickly do
right.
that.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Russell, the email that we received for you, how do you find distressed real estate?
How do you actually find it?
Yeah.
Oh,
a
interesting
guy like
question.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And Mark, do you ever do joint ventures or strictly loans?
Joint ventures or.
You got some
strictly-
borrowers.
We do.
That's,
We do joint ventures, so
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then
we're
we're
gonna talk about that. That'd be a good one
flip-flop
to
a
talk
little bit.
about.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Mr. Kramer.
Mr. Kramer,
I know,
I'm
it's
ready.
like maybe on the bounty, you know. Mr. Christian? Mr. Kramer?
Cosmo.
Cosmo. Mr. calling you Cosmo. No, you probably get that a lot. Okay, ready? Here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Hanf of Pacific Private Money and Russell Rosner of Equity Coalition. And when we cut to the first commercial break, we asked this trivia question, which has to do with TV reality shows. This show revolves around candidates attempting to impress a real-life business tycoon, or in this case, I should probably say typhoon, who is also the host. What is the show?
You're fired.
You're fired, yes.
Yes, The Apprentice.
The Apprentice, that is correct. And when we cut to break, I forgot to mention about the special trivia contest that we asked last week on the hornblower. Here was the question. Remember this one? According to insurance statistics, this person's car insurance was once over $125,000 a year. Who was the person?
I have no idea.
Sammy Hagar. And the winner was Dawn from Livermore.
Somebody knew
Somebody
the
knew
answer
it.
to
It's
that.
amazing.
Wow.
You know, it's cheaper
Dawn, way to go.
when you have that kind of premium. It's cheaper to have a full-time limo driver. Okay, we are in the studio with Marc Guzman, who is a specialist in REOs and short sales. And take it away.
Oh, sure. I was going to ask Mark a question about short sales. A short sale, are they as hard to get today as they were, maybe a year ago? Because we heard a lot of things about short sales taking an awful long time to go through. Has there been like any recent streamlining of that process?
For sure there has been. Right now, Bank of America, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they're trying to really streamline all these short sales, part of the different regulations. I'm sure everyone's heard about the $25 billion settlement that recently happened. Bank of America, top big banks had to pay out.
Was it for the robo-signing?
For the robo-sign, correct, yeah.
Ah.
So, what's happening is they're streamlining, and Bank of America supposedly has now a 30-day decision timeline.
Interesting.
Short sales.
Wow.
And just for the listeners that don't know, what is a short sale briefly?
Okay, a short sale is where a property is sold and the homeowner sells it for less than what the actual debt on the property is.
So
So this is the bank allowing you to sell it for less than what you owe them.
Correct, and you have to negotiate with the banks, and not all short sales are approved, but we're getting a lot of short sales approved.
Yeah, because it used to take a really long time.
It used to be 6 to 9
6
months.
Yeah.
Who do you normally have negotiate for you? If I'm a homeowner and I want to do a short sale, what do I do?
We have an in-house staff that does our own negotiations with the banks.
And you do that free of charge?
Correct.
Oh, that's nice.
How do you get paid?
We get paid by the commission. The banks still approve the, a standard 6% commission that's negotiated, and that's how we get paid.
So you mentioned in your notes to us that some banks are offering incentives to homeowners to encourage them to start a short sale as opposed to foreclosure.
Yeah, because the biggest one that I've seen is Chase, and on certain properties that are deemed high-risk loans, they're offering up to $35,000 to the homeowner to complete a short sale.
$35,000.
$35,000, yeah.
You mean after they close, they get a check?
When it closes, they get a check at closing.
I know the reason for
Wow.
that is because it's too expensive to go through the foreclosure process. They're weighing their options, and the bank figures it's cheaper to give them $35,000, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And it does vary depending on the loan amount, depending on the actual situation. So some people will get 5,000, some get 10, 15.
Yeah.
But I've seen up to 35.
You know, it's interesting. It seems less bureaucratic. I mean, someone's actually making an informed decision. You know, I think that's actually pretty cool.
So if I'm a buyer and I'm looking to buy distressed property, are there more short sale listings on the market now, thanks to some of this streamlining and other incentives?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you think about over 6 million properties that are in default right now, if you sit around and wait for them to turn REO bank owned, you're going to be waiting a very long time. Whereas if you target short sales, you can go target those properties right now.
So right now there's 6 million homes that are in default in the United States.
Actual mortgages that are in default, yeah.
And have they actually filed NODs, the banks, on those, or are they just considering them behind?
On some properties. I believe about 2.4 million are 90 days past due. 90 days or more past.
Wow.
I thought the economy recovered and everyone got a job in the real estate market.
No,
What do I know?
Yeah, lots and lots of shadow inventory out
So,
there still.
well, let me ask you, what are the pros and cons, let's say, for a buyer for buying short sale property?
The pros is you're buying a property that is probably occupied and kept in better shape, so it's easier to finance, whereas many of the bank-owned properties, they need repairs.
And this would be for a real estate investor, not someone who's looking for a personal residence. Because
Okay.
obviously if it's
Right,
it's
well,
occupied.
this is a show about investing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
guess it could be both, right?
Yeah, but there are people who are probably, you know, who might be looking for their own house, but
course.
unless you want to say, hey, you got a new roommate. Okay.
But yeah, the house being in better shape, I mean, that's a big deal, because a lot of the REO properties, you know, you have broken windows, or they've had to be boarded up, or the people left and took some stuff with them on the way out.
Yeah.
Some piping and electrical.
And then-
Yeah, the copper wire.
Copper wire.
Copper wire, yeah, that happens.
And then you do have a lot of investors that buy short sales, and they rent out the property right back to the same occupant.
Exactly.
Yeah, that seems like it's a really good rate of return. You know, off the air, you were telling us a story about actually going into break about you're telling your clients to overbid because the appraisal comes in lower. Can you give us that story so the listeners can hear it?
Okay,
Pretty cool.
it's a perfect example, especially if you're financing your purchase. Here's an example. I sold a property in American Canyon. We were listed at $385,000. We had 17 offers on the property, and it sold. The highest offer was $500,000 FHA financing. Second best offer was $460,000, and that was about 35% down payment. And then we had like a $440,000 cash offer.
Well, but now how, with the FHA financing, how does that come in? I mean, don't they know that it's only out, offered for $385,000? And the FHA says, sure, go ahead, we'll let you buy it potentially?
It's
for
just an
$500,000?
offer.
Yeah, it's just an
Yes.
offer. You can make an offer for $1 million if you want to. Doesn't mean the bank.
Subject to
land on it.
financing.
Subject to financing, okay, there you go.
Yeah, correct.
So what happened?
And so the banks right now, the big banks are really focusing on FHA buyers, and they're being pushed by, again, some of the federal regulations to encourage first-time home buyers and encourage FHA purchases. So this FHA buyer got their offer accepted for $500,000. The appraisal came back at $405,000, and the property sold for $405,000.
So almost $100,000 less than what they were.
So an
Yeah,
FHA
correct.
buyer was able to buy the house at $405,000, yet they had a cash offer for
For
$440,000.
correct.
But because they offered $500,000, the buyer with the financing contingency got the house.
So I guess they
Correct.
didn't accept they didn't take a backup offer of $440,000 or even $405,000 of cash from, boy, if I was that cash offer buyer, I'd
Yeah,
be
but
a
they
little
go away.
miffed.
I mean,
Yeah.
the cash buyer moves on to the next deal. They may not even be aware that that happened 30 days. It could have been 30 days later. The appraisal comes in at $405,000. Oh, we're going to adjust the price and
Wow.
sell it
So
for
you're saying
$405,000.
that the banks just really aren't paying attention, because obviously the bank would have made much more money selling to that cash offer.
Oh, exactly.
And if somebody would have just done a quick appraisal of the property at the bank, they would have known that the FHA loan wasn't gonna go through.
Well, the
Correct,
banks
yeah,
do
that's right.
appraisals on their properties. They
Internally or?
Oh yeah, the asset manager on this property already knew it wouldn't even appraise close to 500, but because of a lot of the federal regulations, they're pushed to really encourage FHA
They
purchases.
favored the FHA buyer
Correct.
over the
Yeah.
cash buyer.
Right.
And it's funny because usually it's the
That's
opposite.
amazing.
You know, everyone wants cash only.
Yeah,
but
that's what I heard.
Well,
is
if it were
cash
you
is
or
king.
me selling the property, we'd probably take the cash buyer.
Yeah.
But it's the bank, and as Mark
Or you
pointed out.
wouldn't approve a price of 405.
Right, you wouldn't
But,
approve,
yeah,
right, exactly.
but the guy who's
Right.
offering $440,000, I'm guessing that there was really no contingency. He's not saying, oh, subject to an appraisal.
Right.
But especially since especially since they were offering for $385,000.
Correct.
So he's offering $440,000, probably say I'll close in 30 days. Oh, man.
So in other words, if you want to buy an REO, overbid, because you're not going to pay anything more than what the appraisal comes in at. But
Correct.
you have to be a person that's going to be buying with bank financing. Because
Correct.
the banks require an appraisal.
I wonder if they got more than one appraisal. You know, if I got an appraisal at $405,000, I think I would at least hire another appraiser.
Well, even if you had another appraisal done on the property, the banks only lend on the lowest appraisal.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Do cash buyers ever say subject to appraisal? Have you seen that?
No, I mean, I've
Especially if
seen
they're
it.
overbidding.
It's very rare. It's very rare,
Huh.
but
So are there any cons at all to buying a short sale? I mean, it sounds pretty good to me. Or I'm sorry, an REO or a short sale.
You know, for when buying a short sale, the only problem is you may get into a short sale transaction that will last 3, 4, even up to 9 months, and then in the end won't get approved.
I see.
Yeah, so it's kind of a
That's
timing
the
thing.
drawback, and for big-time investors who are constantly making offers on properties, you know, it can be a problem if you know, make too many offers, get into too many contracts in short sales, and then they start getting approved, and now you really have to fork out that money.
Sure.
Sure. Is it speeding up at all? Or are the banks still dragging their feet?
The big banks are definitely speeding up.
Oh, that's good to know.
Before we cut to the next commercial break, the second one, how do people get a hold of you if they're interested in REOs or short sales?
Easiest way is just call my office, and that number is 510-662-8536.
Okay, and it's Marc Guzman. And do you have a website?
Yeah, it's Marc with a C, Guzman.com.
Compared to Mark with a K here at Pacific Private Money. Okay, and when we come back from break, we're going to get into email time. Stick around, Mark, because there's a lot of real estate stuff. I'm sure you'll chime in. Here is our second trivia question. Again, reality TV show is the theme. This TV show features overweight contestants vying with each other to lose as much, like me, I need to do, of their excess weight as possible. What is the show? The first 3 callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Again, their website, check them out. Lighthouse4fun.com. Call 888-912-1190. That's 888-912-1190 to answer this question. This TV show features overweight contestants vying with each other to lose as much of their excess weight as possible. What is the show? 888-912-1190. Make sure to include your name, your email address, remember to speak slowly, and spell out your email address one letter at a time. And we will be right back. Excellent.
Loser.
Yeah.
Oh,
see,
I
that's
thought it
the
was
show.
Fat Farm Follies.
Yeah, Fatty Arbuckle.
Yeah. I was
Fat
just,
Farm Follies. That would be a good name.
Fatty Arbuckle, you know the Westin downtown, they have a thing about him because he was,
Oh, you stayed there?
yeah, but he was also accused of like, rape or something.
Oh, in that hotel?
Yeah, like
Oh,
with,
really?
with a 12-year-old girl or something.
Well, no, I
ridiculous.
knew that that's
Remember
how his
That's what wrote
career
this-
went down the
yeah,
tubes, but I
that's
thought
what
it
it
was
was.
in San Francisco.
She said she was 18.
Oh, okay.
So I'm assuming that's a big
She said she was 18.
Yeah. You know, there's a Cheech and Chong one. He goes, how did I know she was 14? She looked 15.
Cheech and Chong.
You know, in Eastern Bloc countries like the Czech Republic, the age of consent was 15. Now it's been raised to 16. But when I was in Prague, it was 15.
Oh.
I took advantage of that.
Oh, you bad boy.
You're on tape.
We're definitely going to have to add it.
Yeah, we're on tape. Don't we?
Oh.
And we know that you had a girlfriend at least last week on the Hornblower.
That's right.
Oh, that was 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
What?
That she worked 20 years ago? Or
No. I was in Prague.
Oh, you still have a girlfriend.
I still.
So, okay.
Poor Russell, sorry.
I know.
Couldn't resist.
Just block that all out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. There, clear there. Okay, so we'll get into email time, and the fourth
Okay.
segment will cover what else is going on.
Yeah.
There it happened, Captain.
Captain?
Captain?
So is this the microphone recording the camera?
For that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, he was going to, he'd asked me about it. He's quite the computer guru about how, for like YouTube, I can get this on.
Well, actually, okay. Which is the better recording? This is the better audio, right?
This one. No, well.
Oh,
this.
actually, you want to know, the best audio
Mhm.
is if this, see that board he has
Was
there?
direct.
Yeah, if he had an out.
Yeah, all you
Just
need to
had
do
it
is just
in.
put in a card, and then you have a direct input right into your computer.
If he can do that, you're absolutely right.
You can do that.
Part. I mean, I record from here to here.
That would
and
be
it's
my
on here.
best too, but I had problems.
But how do I go from here
Into there?
yeah, to the YouTube
Excuse me.
Well,
to match it up?
You know, maybe if you had a double output, you could send a second signal into there.
Oh,
That would be the easiest.
that would be.
Yeah, just put in another cord.
Where does it go?
Right here. You have an empty spot
And just go from here to there.
directly into there. Yeah. Because, yeah, that would be the simplest solution instead of moving sound files and all of that. Where's the output on this? You know? Oh, okay.
I mean,
I can take a look at it later.
Yeah, that would be great.
Because that's what I actually should be doing too.
Yeah,
But
because
I was
the
having-
sound quality
I
is
was
not
having-
so hot
I was
on
having
YouTube.
problems
well,
with that.
YouTube, no, but on his, it's on television, it's fine.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen
Well,
it.
I haven't seen it. Well, where's that show?
It's Saturdays at noon on
Mhm.
Channel 26.
Mhm.
And it's
But only in Marin County,
In Marin
right?
County, but
I'm in Marin County.
yeah, but Nevada, did they get Comcast showing?
I have Comcast.
He does, but Nevada has their own CM, they have their
Yeah.
own public access.
Yeah.
Now, why can't you put that show on YouTube?
You could,
Then it would be
That would actually
way
be-
better.
you could.
Yeah, it just wouldn't be as timely because he doesn't. Yeah, I mean,
Just a
because
few
it takes
days.
well, no, it takes him longer than that.
And it wouldn't be the
edit.
same, yeah, it takes about 16 hours. I got 2 cameras, gotta match up all the sound.
Right.
Yeah,
But I mean, I
But
think.
yeah,
if you
I could
want-
take your existing
you can.
and just.
But you're gonna get you're not just gonna get your show, I mean, I don't know how you do it, but
No,
you're gonna get,
it
you're gonna
includes
get,
all this stuff.
the short, remember,
Well, yeah, if you do shorts and stuff, yeah, he
the best
edits
and best
up,
in shorts, because I have to fill a time, this is only 40 minutes long, and I have to fill in 56 to 58 minutes.
Oh,
well,
I
we-
see.
I do.
That's
because
why
I
when we
keep
talk about,
this-
Well, yeah, I guess you
18-year-old
don't.
Croatian girls in
Unfortunately,
between.
yeah, unfortunately, yeah, right. You'd have to take it and cut off the rest probably, and then save it as a new file. That would be.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
see, with the
really-
YouTube, what I do is I cut the beginning and I cut the end. I just can't
Mhm.
figure out how to do the middle parts.
Oh, yeah.
And you
It's
don't
actually
have
pretty
to
simple
be-
if you've done it once. It's just Movie Maker is just kind of like.
I tried with that and I couldn't
It
figure out
didn't
how to
actually let you like literally
trim. I could trim from the back and the front with. Well, I did that with.
because there's usually it's a
Quick
start
layers.
and
Yeah,
then
what
an
you have to
end,
do
and
is
then
like
you
trim
cut.
it down to individual videos.
Yeah, Movie Maker will break it up into 1-minute increments, 10-minute increments.
See, you almost have to show me how to do it because I went on there and I just.
You just put one big giant file. That's what the problem was. Usually you have.
Well, I did it through Real Player because I could trim it, but I couldn't trim.
You couldn't crop it in the,
Yeah.
I
in
could
the
crop it.
middle
I
of
could
it.
just yeah.
There's probably a way to
Well,
do
use
it.
Movie Maker.
Well, that's.
Just open it in Movie Maker and it'll be done. It still was stuck.
It was I couldn't
Oh,
figure out how to go
okay.
like that and save just that. It was not knowing how to do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
I'm sure you guys are right, but okay, you ready? Let's see here. In case we're getting into email time, and away we go. Let's check the Facebook site. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Hunt and Russell Rosner, and we're still in the studio here with Marc Guzman. And when we cut to the second commercial break, we asked this trivia question. This TV show features overweight contestants vying with each other to lose as much of their excess weight as possible. What is the name of the show?
The Biggest Loser.
The Biggest Loser. And what did you think it was, Russell?
I thought it was called Fat Farm Follies.
Fat Farm Follies, the triple F. Okay, we're going to get right into email time here. Mark, an email we received for you. Do you ever do joint ventures or strictly loans? This must be from a borrower. Well, it doesn't have to be, but
Do I ever do joint ventures or do I do strictly loans? Okay, well, for new listeners, I'm Mark Hunt. I'm president of Pacific Private Money. We are a Bay Area hard money lender, also known as a private money lender. We make mostly loans to real estate investors to buy bank-owned or short sale or other property, or to pull cash out of property they own, maybe to buy more property. So we mostly do loans, but I got to tell you, I actually do get quite a few phone calls from people asking me if I have either equity investors or if I have investors who would be willing to joint venture with them. And interesting that this question came up today because, as a matter of fact, this coming Thursday, July 12th, I'm going to be speaking in front of the Silicon Valley Real Estate Investors Association in Mountain View at the Mountain View Community Center. That's at 7 o'clock Thursday, July 12th. And I'm going to be talking about how to attract private money. Because I got to tell you, we're so busy in our office making loans that I don't have time to get to know a stranger who calls me who was interested in maybe doing a joint venture with one of my investors. So what I've realized is that I can share with people how I've attracted in less than 4 years over 300 private individual investors who invest in my notes. And now many of those guys probably would do a joint venture, but it's really, I can't really share that my database with others. First of all, I think it just would be inappropriate, and a lot of these guys are contacting me, and you know, it's just privacy issues. Plus, again, I don't know who you are when you call me up and you want to do a joint venture and you're asking me if I have any equity investors. But what I can do is I can certainly help share with folks, and I do it actually quite a bit with people, is share with them what I did to find people looking for money. And actually, there are very, very simple things you can do here in the Bay Area to find equity investors. And I'll just share with you one tip. Some of my best investors I found at IRA investing events. And IRAs, you know, for individual retirement accounts, particularly Roth IRAs. Many of you out there may be aware that you can invest in real estate or real estate secured notes using your Roth IRA. And so companies like Pensco and Entrust and other Bay Area IRA services companies host events, oftentimes on weekends, to teach people how to, you know, get better returns on their money by investing in real estate or real estate secured notes. And I would go to those events and just network, because really it's about networking, because quite frankly, people will invest with you if they know who you are and if they like you.
Yeah, that's
it's funny how that is. So, you know,
So you're suggesting to get your own investors if you're looking for an equity.
I mean, really, the bottom line is yes, there are simple ways to attract private money. Let me just tell you guys, there's so much money out there right now looking for yield. Investors are starving for returns right now, so they want to invest in things like real estate. They would love to do joint ventures, and what you need to do is there's several things. Number one, you got to put a credibility package together on yourself. Who are you? What is it that you're trying to do? Do you have experience? Show your experience. There's a number of ways you can put a package together on yourself, and then you just got to network. You got to get out and meet and greet people and find out, you know, what they're doing and whether they might be interested in higher returns on their savings. So it's actually it's a pretty simple steps, and if you're interested in hearing more, I invite you to come listen to me speak again at the Silicon Valley Real Estate Investment Club in Mountain View on Thursday, July 12th.
And if they can't do that, but they want to get a hold of you?
Well, our website's pacificprivatemoney.com, all one word, of course, pacificprivatemoney.com, and our phone number is 415-883-2150.
And you can also...
They can always go to the Best of Investing website.
There you go.
bestofinvesting.com and see our pretty mugs and contact us there.
Speak for yourself. Oh wait, that was a compliment. Okay, Russell, we got an email for you. It says, how do you find distressed real estate?
Well, you know, I'm not going to give up my secrets. Just call me, 415-680-3454. No, but to start off with, just to mention a little bit about me and my company, the Equity Coalition is a very similar company to Marc's, and the difference between us is really that we have access to not only individual investors, but to large funds, hedge funds, and the like, where we can do larger loans, and we can also invest in the, or actually lend in the Western United States. And but I think both of us on any given day, you know, may or may not be able to do the loan, but Marc and I will, you know, from time to time exchange references and leads. But I just to also speak to Marc's question about the equity deal. We have a product called a shared appreciation mortgage, and how that works is this: an investor calls up and says, "Hey, I want to partner with you because I don't have enough cash to meet your loan-to-value requirements, which would be 35 to 40% down." What we can do for them is offer them a package where we will give them a coupon of maybe 11 or 12% interest, and we do charge points, but we'll require them to only come in with about 15% down. So we're not going to work with somebody that has no cash, but if they can bring up to 15% down, they can qualify for financing for the whole cost of the project, so the purchase price as well as the rehab, and even an interest reserve in some cases. And what we would want in return for that is between a 25 and a 50% interest in the profits in the end of the loan.
On top of the 12% interest.
That's correct. That's correct. And so if anybody has any questions about that, again, they can call me, and it's a little bit much to get into on the radio here.
But that is a great product, the shared appreciation mortgage. I'm familiar. There's a number of those going on in the Bay Area right now.
Well, it's kind of a hybrid of a joint venture and a loan, because you know you're not charging as much as what a typical joint venture would charge, a joint venture or partner would charge. I'm assuming that the borrower is still in control. I mean, they still make the decisions on.
That's correct. They would own the property, but you know, if they don't go along with the program, because usually these kinds of loans are usually require extensive rehab on the properties.
And they have to make the decision what kind of kitchen to put in, that sort of thing.
Right. So if they're not on schedule, we do have the right to shut the project down and take it over.
Okay. Do you make them personally guarantee these loans?
Yes, we do. But you know, not all of the loans require personal guarantees. It's really a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, a shared appreciation mortgage isn't necessarily less expensive than an equity investor. It's just if you don't have an equity investor, if you don't have a private investor, this is a way to obtain near 100% financing for your project, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How does the deed work from the standpoint of who's on title?
Oh, the investor is actually on title.
Only.
Only.
And so you have a separate agreement.
Yeah, our protection is the note and deed of trust. Basically, there's a first deed of trust for the actual loan amount, and then a second deed of trust which outlines the profit sharing.
That's a very smart way to do it.
Yeah, that's a big secret I just gave away, everybody.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you don't want to get into legal problems with your joint venture partner, so to speak.
Exactly,
Because
exactly.
you don't call them a partner, right? You just have a second deed of trust.
Yeah, they're just a borrower, just like everybody
Exactly.
A
else.
shared appreciation mortgage.
That's right.
Smart guy. We're going to cut to our third commercial break. When we come back, we'll get into a little bit more real estate stuff with Marc Guzman here, as well as everyone else. And on this TV reality show, it features ordinary people selected to undergo an intense course of cosmetic enhancements to alter their appearance. I sure need one of those. What is the name of that show? The first three callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website is lighthouseforfun.com. Thought you guys were going to think I was going to come up with questions like Survivor or Lost or one of those ones. But no, yeah, these are a little different. Call 888-912-1190. That's 888-912-1190 to answer this question. This TV reality show features ordinary people selected to undergo an intense course of cosmetic enhancements to alter their appearance. What is the name of the show? Make sure to include your name, email address, and remember to speak slowly and spell out your information for us one letter at a time. And we will be right back. Excellent.
So I could sort of sidestep that question. My actual listener question was not answered, but
That's fine.
oh well.
It was more interesting, your answer.
Yeah, it was actually.
Good.
Stupid audience.
Yeah, because I've never talked about Sam's before on the air, I don't think.
Oh.
So that's good.
So how'd you get the speaking gig?
I don't remember how I got a hold of Danny, but just kind of put myself out there a little bit. This will be, I've done multiple webinars.
Are you part of that club?
No, it's too far a drive for me. I'm up in Nevada,
really.
then to go to Mountain View. But I actually, there were, in the beginning of the year when velocity had slowed down a little bit, I for like January, February, I kind of toured the Bay Area and was hitting up all the REO clubs.
Yeah.
San Jose. There's several, like the San Jose, SJREI has actually 3 meetings. One's in San Jose, one's in Foster City, and there's another one I think in Dublin.
Did you charge your normal $10,000 speaking gig?
No, I'm not making, this is a freebie, but this
freebie?
is practice for my 2-day lab in August where I should make 20 grand.
What?
Speaking of, yeah. Yeah, that's, so we
Where'd you get that?
projected, that was, well, it was, again, it's just, there are no accidents, right? But it was very coincidental. I took a course in 2006 from Alexis McGee, who owns foreclosures.com. It's a training program based in Sacramento that teaches you how to invest in foreclosures. Of course, in 2006, there really wasn't, you had to go knock on doors of people who were in default. It was before the wave, so I was a little bit early.
Yeah.
So she contacts me 6 months ago out of the blue because one of her clients was in need of a hard money loan, and when I started talking to her, I said, oh, by the way, you realize that I'm a former student of yours, and she had completely forgotten because she's had thousands of students, and we got into talking, and when she found out what I did, and I told her that, oh, by the way, I got like tons of investors, I've gotten over 300 investors in less than 4 years, she said, oh my God, what do you think about doing a money lab for me? And of course, my first reaction was, hell no, I'm not going to do it. I mean, that was just like, It was from a fear
money
standpoint.
A money lab is basically just
A 2-day classroom, 35 students who will pay anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 depending on when they sign up each, and it's basically a 40-60. I get 40% as the speaker, and she
to
gets
basically
60%.
teach about how to get
to
your
raise money.
business.
I've got already a couple of hundred hours into and a ton of modules to cover 2 days on basically A to Z how to raise
Sort of like what George
private
Blackburn
money.
did.
Yeah.
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 Are they packaged up with professional printing boxes and all that?
They will be.
Good for you. I mean, that's
Wow.
something that
That's
you could
great.
sell
Good movie, yeah.
in the
So
future.
it's a deadline for me, and it's put me under tremendous pressure and stress to get this done. But having a deadline to produce 2 days worth of classroom content has caused. I have so much blog content now. I've got blogs for the next 3 years worth of stuff. Plus, I can sell it in the future.
Yeah.
Plus, we're going to do coaching afterwards, mastermind coaching. So I'm going to take on 6 students. So I'm going to continue to make probably an additional 20 grand over the next 90 days after that. So it's I'm finally going to be able to monetize my knowledge in an alternative to what I'm doing on a daily basis, which is collecting origination fees
Yeah.
for hard money loans.
Yeah, God, I'd like to get into that.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Do I make my check out to Pacific Private Money or you?
PPM.
PPM, okay. Can I write PPM?
No.
Okay.
It's like people writing out the checks to IRS, and the people were changing the I to an M and making it Mrs. and then
Oh.
yeah, that scam went on for a while.
You're supposed to write it to the United States Treasury.
Yeah, that's why they changed it. It's too many times in the IRS.
That's funny.
So we got a little over 11 minutes to cover.
Oh, good.
Some stuff. So,
Excuse me, guys. New tape.
What's happened this week? I forgot to check the blogs because I was too busy plus the holidays and all that stuff. Anything? Any noteworthy real estate
News?
news?
Any news on your foot, Ed?
you get it.
What do we got?
None that I think
What do we
that
got
these,
today?
these programs and everything you're talking about
What's that?
are interesting. I don't think a
Yeah,
lot
and they're all happening at the
I
same time.
couldn't think of anything. I forgot. That's right. Now I get to take this thing off. Yeah.
That hurts.
Oh. I actually did remember. What can I say?
You forgot.
I forgot. You should sell these things instead of razors.
Thank you.
Sure.
The best of the notes.
The best of the notes. That's it.
Yeah, one thing here in California.
DBA
they're trying to
found
prevent
equity.
bulk sales
Ooh,
from
another one.
Yeah,
That's the biggest
yeah. You should talk a little bit about that and as to why and what's going on there.
So say that again. I'm sorry.
I mean, in California, with the banks trying to do these bulk sales, the California Association of Realtors, they're really pushing a lot of some of the recent bills, the legislation, to prevent bulk sales from happening.
Right, I agree with that too. I think they should prevent it because that means all the hedge funds are going to have all the fun.
Yeah.
Individual
Well,
investors.
to
Plus,
bypass-
Russell and I lend individual investors. We want individual investors to have, lots of opportunity.
Yeah,
And that's
right.
what drives the economy, in my opinion, not hedge funds buying thousands of non-performing notes.
Plus, they can't trade for 3 years, so they can't even get a loan out of it anyway, right? So
It's crap. Yeah.
that's terrible. So you're gonna have
It
to wait
is
around for
terrible.
3 years before we can even approach people to do loans.
And it will be interesting to see if they end up liquidating a lot of these properties after 3 years.
Right. They probably will, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So where are we here? We're talking about short sales. So what's some other topic that we can discuss? I think that the question from the listener actually is an interesting topic of where do you
How to
actually
find them.
find distressed real estate? Because that actually can be a pretty
Yeah.
in-depth question that,
I like it.
that we all could answer together. So, in fact, if you want, you could start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the guest.
Okay, you guys ready? And away we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Onf of Pacific Private Money, Russell Rosner of Equity Coalition, and our guest, Marc Guzman. When we cut to the third and final commercial break, we asked this trivia question. This TV reality show features ordinary people selected to undergo an intense course of cosmetic enhancements to alter their appearance. What's the name of the show?
That one I don't remember.
I don't know.
That one I don't know.
Yeah.
Extreme Makeover.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
You know what would be
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
is to go back, because that show was on like, 2 or 3 years ago. Go back to some of those people who had that done. I wonder what they look like today if it
That's
kept.
a good point.
Right.
They sure
Then
look
now
good.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened to all those implants and enhancements?
Because they sure look good right after.
Right after, yeah.
Exactly.
Very good point. Mark, you were going to share with us a little bit more like what Russell, when his email question about finding distressed real estate.
Yeah, one of the tips I recommend is to find those groups of people that buy properties at the auction, at the court steps. That's one easy way. I know there's a few companies where they have guys just scattered everywhere at every single court step, at every courthouse, and they're constantly giving everyone feedback on what's selling, what's being postponed, what's being canceled, and many times they buy the properties themselves and then sell it back to the individual buyers interested in buying.
I know a lot of guys who show up at those courthouse steps, with briefcases probably full of their lunch. They have no money.
Well, actually, some of my largest clients are exactly those guys. So, if any of the listeners are looking to buy a particular property or want to be introduced, I'd be happy to introduce them.
So, Mark, what you were saying is that some of these, professional courthouse step buyers will actually sell you the property for, I guess, obviously for a small fee. So they're going to buy the property
Correct.
with their cash, and then there's obviously a finder fee or a transfer fee that you could buy directly from them. I've actually heard of that too. So
Yeah, correct. And
So
normally it's like a $5,000 finder fee.
So the guys are basically doing
Yeah.
a very quick, they're not fix and flip, they're just buying and flipping.
right.
Right, because they have the infrastructure of the bidders already at the auctions, and they have the expertise to know how to bid at the auctions. And as an example, some of the largest groups have actually 5 or 6 bidders at each auction, especially the larger counties like Alameda, because there may be 4 or 5 auctioneers auctioning off property at the same time. So the bigger companies will have a bidder to match each auctioneer, so they don't miss a thing.
And hopefully you don't get one auctioneer or 2 auctioneers auctioning off the same property. That wouldn't be good.
No, it wouldn't be.
So, Mark, are most of your clients homeowners looking to get a deal on distressed property, or are they actually real estate investors who are looking for opportunities either for rental income property or to buy fix and flip?
Most of my clients are investors, and they tend to look for properties to flip. What I keep telling everyone, if you can put together an investment strategy where you buy properties to hold on as a rental, I mean, you can afford to pay a little bit more, but you still have really good returns in some areas out here.
So I think that's really important to know, because I know a lot of real estate investors who come to me for to borrow hard money loans. A lot of them think that they like to be on their own, kind of a renegade. They don't want to use the services of a broker because they think they're going to pay more, but that's really not true. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, that's one of the biggest myths, and many times working with the different agents, and if you work with an agent who's very well connected in the area, who knows other agents, who knows the listing agents on a one-on-one basis, that's your best bet.
Yeah, I remember, in the years back when talking about FSBOs, for sales by owner, these guys would be thinking, I'm going to save on the commission. But what ends up happening is a shrewd buyer comes in and says, well, since you're not having to pay a commission, I'm going to lower the price by that commission anyway.
Right, there's
Right,
no free
yeah.
lunch. You don't really save money. And so just getting back to what we were talking about a second ago with Mark, I actually believe that to be true. I've heard that from a number of sources, that if you're a real estate investor, particularly in this market right now where there's a shortage of inventory, if you're looking to break into the market right now, or you've already been in the market and you're having a hard time finding it, I think that the best thing to do really is to find a really good REO or short sale listing agent and work with that agent in the market where you're investing. And what market, Mark, did you say you were a specialist in?
I cover most of the Bay Area. My office is located in Richmond, California, of West Contra Costa County, but I cover every county. We're in Solano.
That'll keep you busy.
Alameda. Yeah.
Mhm.
Is East
Yeah.
Contra Costa County still a hot market? Because it certainly was when
It
the
is.
market turned sharply.
It is.
Well, do you remember, didn't we have a guest on, was it last week or the week before, about the some property in Lodi or Stockton where.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about East Contra Costa, which is like.
Antioch,
Brentwood. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
no,
cool.
that
Antioch's
market's
not
still
that
very
far
hot.
from it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some opportunities there to buy property for half of what it sold brand new in 2005.
Are they all individual houses or are they apartments also?
You can buy apartments out there.
Yeah, because that's what the one person had. Remember, he purchased.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, yeah,
A
like
fourplex in
Fourplex,
Stockton
and with
and-
25% occupancy, it was on a positive cash flow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was incredible. And
Well, you know, another interesting way for people to find distressed property. A lot of my my borrowers actually do this. You know, aside from buying directly at the courthouse steps, which probably is the most direct way, or finding an REO or short sale real estate agent, is to literally drive around an area that you want to invest in and look for houses that are dilapidated, and then do some research online and see who that owner might be, see if the property might be in default. There's something, you know, we mentioned this a few times, NOD, that's a notice of default. If a property has a notice of default filed against it, and this is public record and pretty easy to find these days on the internet, as soon as you see a property that's actually in default, and the homeowner's living there, there's no law against just knocking on the door and saying, hey, you know what, I'd like to buy your property, and I bet you we can set up a short sale. And if you have somebody like Marc Guzman right with you as your agent, he can help facilitate something like that because he has expertise.
It's funny you mention that because I have two specific clients that they do exactly that. They go door knocking, they find older properties door knocking, they talk to the homeowners, agree on price and terms, and then call me for the contract.
There you go.
No, that's exactly right. I was at a REO event earlier this year where the guy who was sharing was saying that was his whole MO, that he just knocked on doors. So really, if you're willing to put a little work in, you can still get deals even in this tight
now,
market.
knocking on every door or just ones that are in default? No, seriously, there was a place in Ross where there's a guy who just loved this house, and this is going back probably 10 years. And he just said, I just love this house. I have to have this house. So he knocks on the door, and the lady answers, and he says, excuse me, I want to buy your house. She says, well, it's not for sale. And he says, well, I'll offer you, $5 million. It was in Ross. It was pretty expensive. And she says, honey, do we want to sell our house? No. He's offering $5 million. No. So the guy comes back like 2 days later and says, I want to buy your house. And he says, well, we already told you no. He says, yeah, but this time I'm going to offer you like $12 million. And, honey, do we want to sell? How much? $12 million. Done. I love my house, but not that much.
Okay,
Funny story. So, Mark, anything else going on in real estate today?
You know what? We had the holiday this week, and I spent Wednesday on the Russian River with my family canoeing. It was very fun.
Knocking on door to door.
Knocking on doors
Right.
looking for real estate. Yeah, not knocking on doors looking
Knocking
for
on
real estate.
canoes.
So I actually didn't see what the blogs were saying this week. I just know that it's just the phone keeps ringing for in our office for people looking for financing. But I've been talking to a number of my clients wondering why they haven't called me recently. It is because they're not finding a lot of inventory on the market right now. So that's really the big question, and that's why I was asking Mark, and we've asked some of our previous guests here, is what are people thinking in terms of when more inventory is going to be released on the market? And Mark, you said something earlier in the show that I thought was interesting, that some of the banks are now putting together bulk packages of non-performing loans and selling them to maybe to like hedge funds or other investors. Isn't there some organizations that are out there trying to put a stop to that? Because it's, in some ways, it's certainly not good for the individual investor.
Right now in California, there's a big push by the California Association of Realtors to put a stop to the bulk sales, and it looks like they're getting the legislation passed. It hasn't officially passed, but it's going through all the steps and passing every single step, so it's possible by the end of the year that bulk sales will be banned here in California.
So what happens when let's say Bank of America packages up X $1 million worth of loans to an investor? What are they doing with the property? Can they sell it? Can they flip it? And what's happening?
What I've seen, it depends on the actual package or the portfolio. There are some portfolios that have certain requirements where they are required to hold on to the property for 6 months, 1 year, up to 3 years. There's a few other ones that are just a package of vacant properties that the new private equity investor can, liquidate if they want to, rent it out, whatever they want to do with it.
Mark, what's the advantage for the banks to sell in bulk as opposed to selling, individual properties? Because I would assume that they would get a better price if they sold properties individually.
I think with the properties they own, they've already taken losses on their books, so I think they're more motivated just to sell.
I see.
All right, guys. Thank you very much, Mark, for joining us in the studio here.
Awesome.
We're going to cut to our thoughts for the day. Experience is a wonderful thing. It enables you to recognize a mistake when you made it again, and again, and again. And one of life's mysteries is how a 2-pound of candy, a 2-pound box of candy can make you gain 5 pounds. I've had that problem before. I want to find a 5-pound.
Will he eat the cardboard too?
Maybe that's the problem. I knew there was a reason. I can make $1 million if I can get a 5-pound box of candy to only make me gain 2 pounds. How does that happen? I don't understand. Okay, tune in next week to the Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away 9 more free vacations for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown, wishing you the best of investing. So long.